In a perfect world, insurance companies would always do the right thing. Yet in reality, the industry harbors a dirty little secret. People are giving them money for something they will never receive. What that really means is they're selling uncollectible insurance. Insurance companies rule our country. They control our banking. Look at AIG, too big to fail. They own Wall Street. They catch a virus, and Wall Street has diarrhea for a week. And when interest rates fall and their investment earnings plummet, they run to Congress and scream tort reform. Lawsuits are killing us, they scream, and those greedy trial lawyers are to blame by filing frivolous lawsuits and convincing ignorant juries to dole out obscene verdicts. But ironically, what you don't know until now is that insurance companies regularly and deliberately invite lawsuits whenever the costs and hassles for a third-party claimant looks to exceed all potential for recovery, rather than just doing the right thing. Too many insurers prefer to play a game of litigation chicken, a frivolous lawsuit strategy in reverse. You don't like it? Sue me. And while insurance companies play rough with consumers, they play even rougher with each other. Take the process of subrogation, for example. Here you have one insurance company making a claim against another. Rather than the sue me response, the greeting afforded a subrogation claim usually starts with a two-word expletive. Still, that does not make this game right, whether played against consumers or other insurance companies. A dollar saved owing only to a claimant's sense of pragmatism and a threshold for litigation is not a dollar earned in any traditional sense. It's more like a dollar stolen, and it happens all the time. Today, the Insider Exclusive investigates and exposes insurance companies' secrets, what policyholders need to know, and how the smoking gun, Allstate Insurance McKinsey Report, published in the book From Good Hands to Boxing Gloves with its 12,000 PowerPoint slides, exposed Allstate's zero-sum economic game, otherwise known as Allstate gains, all others must lose. And in the years since it began implementing McKinsey's strategy, these companies' profitability shot through the roof. For more than a decade, Allstate Insurance Company fought to keep under wraps this smoking gun and other documents that describe how the insurer has made money by reducing payments to some policyholders. Allstate was making an average of $82 million a year in pre-tax operating profit, and in the 10 years after the McKinsey plan rollout began in 1995, Allstate was making an average of $2.4 billion a year in pre-tax operating income. $82 million a year to $2.4 billion a year in pre-tax operating income in just 10 years. That does not happen unless they're cheating. There's no place for that to come from unless they're underpaying claims. Similar figures can be assumed for State Farm and all the other bad faith insurance companies out there. There is no denying the facts. The proof is in the profits. And the McKinsey slides are the smoking gun. Today, the Insider Exclusive shows you how David Biggs, partner at the law firm of Steele & Biggs, and Mark Taylor at the law firm of Siegfried & Jensen are getting justice for their clients against the insurance industry, earning them the highest respect from citizens and lawyers alike as one of the best plaintiff trial lawyers in Utah and in America. They have seen many innocent and hardworking people suffer at the hands of their own insurance companies, and because of that, they are driven not only to get justice for these victims of injustice, but to make sure that all policyholders get 100% of what their insurance companies promised and what they paid for, plus get it without hassle and on time. Hi, I'm Steve Murphy, and this is the Insider Exclusive, live from Salt Lake City, Utah, at the law firm of Siegfried & Jensen and Steele & Biggs. It is my great pleasure to introduce David Biggs of Steele & Biggs and Mark Taylor at Siegfried & Jensen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This show is about insurance. I first got interested in this whole issue of insurance when I purchased a copy of this book. And this book was done on a study that McKinsey and Company, McKinsey Consulting, did on behalf of Allstate Insurance, which showed them that the almighty dollar is more important than the clients that they insure, right?
Yes.
Yes.
In general, let's talk about what a lot of people don't know too much about, bad faith insurance. What does that mean, bad faith insurance, David?
Well, it means that your own insurance company does something that is not in conformance with their obligation to be a fiduciary for you. They're supposed to be protecting your interests. When you pay your premium, you're getting it from an insurance company the promise that they will do the utmost that they can to protect your interests as your fiduciary. When you have a claim and you go to your insurance company and you say, I've got this claim, I've got these medical bills, I've got to do something with them, you said that you would pay them, here they are. And they say, no, we're not going to pay you. Mm-hmm. We're not going to pay them. And here's why. And they have a laundry list of excuses why they aren't going to pay. Yeah. And they go through that laundry list, and you start getting calls from collection agencies and so forth and so on. If they do that without just cause, then you can sue them for bad faith. And what you're suing them for is you're saying, hey, you're my insurance company. You're supposed to be protecting me, not protecting yourself.
As lawyers, you may win some of these cases, but is anything done to the insurance companies to prevent them from doing this same thing to somebody else?
Yes and no. 9 times out of 10, no. We had a very big case here in Utah where it was a bad faith case, and it went all the way up to the United States Supreme Court, Campbell. And the court thought that that was so egregious that they provided for several millions of dollars for the plaintiff in that case. That sometimes results in a legislator writing a law that helps the consumers,
right,
but not often.
You mentioned a laundry list of tactics, so our audience is more familiar when it happens to them. What are some of those? What are some of those items they use? Intentional delay?
Yeah, intentional delay, and it can also depend on the type of insurance. If it's an auto insurance claim, then one of the tactics is for them to try and put the blame on you instead of taking your side. If it's health insurance, one of their tactics is to say that this is a pre-existing condition that isn't covered under the policy because, according to the insurance company, it happened or started at least before you purchased the policy.
I remember in the book that Grisham wrote, The Rainmaker, one of the the policyholder had gotten 7 or 8 letters of denial. And one of them was exactly what you talked about, pre-existing condition. That pre-existing condition being that he had not reported the fact that he had the flu 3 years prior to him getting the policy. These things happen, don't they?
Yeah, and that's another one of the excuses that they can use is improper filling of the application. Even something seemingly insignificant like the flu years before the policy was purchased, if the insurance company thinks that they can make some kind of an argument that you improperly filled out your application, they'll use that to cancel your policy.
Now the point in issuing these letters of denial and not honoring their claim is that eventually, as McKinsey Consulting pointed out, the policyholders go away, don't they?
Yes.
They stop requesting because they get tired of being told no, correct?
Exactly, and the fact of the matter is that just a small percentage of individuals that get these bad faith documents from their own insurance companies go to a lawyer. And the insurance company knows this. They know that if they stall sufficiently, a percentage of the people are simply going to go away. Sometimes as high as 50 or 60% of the individuals just swallow and pay it off and stop bugging their insurance company.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that the insurance company also does is puts the fear in them that they're going to lose insurance coverage in total. And that the insurance companies are going to talk to one another and they're never going to get insurance again.
Does that happen?
No, I mean...
There are insurance companies, though, that cancel policies.
That's true.
Yeah.
And they do talk to one another. They do have a central location where they keep medical records of
Like
all
a blacklist.
Yeah, basically.
Do they really?
They'll never admit that.
Yeah.
They'll never admit that.
Are there some insurance companies that have a pattern of conduct, more so than others, that they just choose not to help their policyholders?
Absolutely.
Or what are some of those insurance companies?
Well, Allstate is well known for that. They were obviously the company that funded the McKinsey report.
Yeah, these are the people that you're in good hands, right? In good hands.
So says
Boston
the
Dog.
advertisement. Not so good when you actually need the hands to help.
Any other insurance companies?
American Family is very adversarial towards their own insureds. And some others, Geico comes to mind.
Geico?
Yes.
Warren Buffett's company?
That would be the one.
Today we have actually two clients with us. We're going to bring them on here in a minute who have suffered, and I think that's the right word, at the hands of their own insurance company. The first client we'll bring aboard is Kerry Boyack. So let's bring him on right now so he can talk about his own personal experiences in dealing with his company. It is my great pleasure to introduce Kerry Boyack to the show. Welcome to the show, Kerry.
Oh, thank you.
You're a victim of your own insurance company, aren't you?
Yes.
I know your case is ongoing. What happened in the accident that you had?
I got rear-ended on the freeway. Freeway came to a halt, and the guy just hit me from behind.
Pretty seriously, though, right?
Yeah.
You've had, what, over $200,000 worth of medical bills?
I had 4 back surgeries.
Now, you had insurance covering you, didn't you?
Auto or health?
Both.
Well, health insurance covered portion of
Yeah.
it, and then the other guy's insurance company covered part of it.
Okay, and what happened when you went to your insurance company and presented them with the medical bills?
We're ongoing with them right now. They're dragging their feet a little bit.
They haven't paid yet, right?
They haven't.
And that's why you have had to retain a lawyer
Yes,
to try and recover.
exactly.
Because it was your understanding that you bought insurance to cover these things, right?
Oh, that's why you buy insurance,
Yeah.
in case something happens.
Have you been disappointed with their reaction?
Yes, I have.
Yeah? Because speaking from your own personal perspective, when you get these medical bills, it affects you directly now, right?
It affects me now, and it affects my job. There's a lot of things that happen when you're laid up and down, and you still have bills coming in.
Yeah.
And
What do you tell the hospitals and the doctors when you've got these bills? $200,000 worth of medical bills, it's a lot of bills.
well, insurance paid, health insurance paid
Yeah.
for part of it, and then, of course, I just pay as I can.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. I mean, there's nothing much you can do about it. You got to, what it is.
But you have to go through the ordeal.
Yes.
What kind of justice do you want to see done in your case?
Well, what I'd like is if there's a way that what happens is if they keep dragging their feet and adding all these expenses, and then it takes me more attorney time, because obviously I can't file it myself. I don't have the means to do it, and I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
They jack up the price of my attorney fees and their attorney fees to the point where if you do get a settlement, they get all the money. Then the insurance company wants their money because of the health insurance. We paid to have you fixed. We want the money. So when it's all said and done, I'm the one that's in pain every day. I'm the one that's hurting, and I get nothing out of it.
Yeah.
Which I'm not here to get something. I'd turn the clock back. I'd be okay.
Yeah, you just want to get your bills taken care of and any other compensation for your back injuries.
Oh yeah, get resolved and move on.
Yeah.
Dragging your feet just costs everybody a ton of money.
Yeah, well, we certainly hope that happens, and I want to thank you very much for taking your time to come here on the show today.
Well, thank you so much.
I am very pleased to have with us today another victim of an insurance company, Trisha Rakes, with her attorney, David Biggs. Welcome to the show, Trisha.
Thank you.
Take us back to the accident. Tell our audience a little bit what happened.
On September 4th, 2008, my son, my husband, and myself were coming back from a taekwondo. We picked up my son on September 4th. We're riding home and there was a car in front of us, a Mazda black car, driving just in front of us. Nobody else was between the car and ourselves. We were on a motorcycle. My husband was on his bike with my son and I was on my own Harley Davidson. A girl in the car was talking on her cell phone and smoking a cigarette at the time. She flicked her cigarette out and it rolled down and almost hit us. And you know, when you're exposed on a bike, you're exposed to the to a flame or whatever, and the gasoline. And she, at that time, my husband went up on the side of her and told her to keep her cigarettes to herself. And at that time, he moved. It was in the turning lane. He moved back towards the correct lane and went behind her. And as she, for the next 6 blocks, played a cat and mouse game, kept slamming on her brakes and swerving her car back and forth from left to right. And the last time she slammed on her brakes, her car, the back end of her car hit the front end of my husband's bike, caused him to lose control, and my son went off the back when he lost control. And she kept driving away. I actually got off my bike and ran after her to chase her down. She didn't even know she hit my husband. And at that time, life flight was called in, and my husband died a week later of head trauma.
I'm sorry to hear that. What happened with the insurance company, your insurance company?
Well, I had underinsured liability, which she did not have very good coverage. And
Explain for our audience what that means.
Underinsured, she only had $50,000 in coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that went to pay hospital bills and my son's hospital bills.
So your insurance company is supposed to kick in and cover anything else, correct?
Correct, and they've denied my claim, stating that they find him at fault for the accident, even though she hit into him and killed him.
How many times did they deny your claim?
We're going on 2 years of denial.
Okay, and the case is ongoing, right, David?
It is. The irony of this, of course, is that the government demands that we all carry insurance if we want to drive on the roadways of this country, and that's a good thing. But insurance companies provide additional insurance. If you have coverage for something that you do wrong, all of us have that. But the coverage that Trisha had and her husband had was something they paid additional money for, additional premiums for. It's called underinsured motorist coverage. And the young lady in the Mazda had the minimum that Utah demands of all of us, $2,550. Trisha had a $500,000 underinsured motorist coverage with her own insurance company. That cost additional monies, and it's supposed to kick in when the person who's responsible for the collisions insurance doesn't cover all of the damages.
Yeah, I'm curious, in any fatality, there's always a big investigation, police investigation, etc. What was the police report? What did it show?
The police investigated, and they charged the young lady in the Mazda with littering by throwing her cigarette butt out the window. They did not charge her with anything else.
Not with the cause of the accident or anything?
No.
If you could say one thing to your insurance company now, what would you say?
At least provide me something that he can be successful, my son, in life, and get the help he needs to make him successful to provide for a family in the future.
All right. Well, again, my condolences to you, and I certainly hope that this works out positive for you. And thank you very much for being on the program.
Thank you.
How do you win cases like this? like Trish's case, and what do you do? Or Carrie's case?
Well, we have to...
You're up against insurance companies who just don't want to pay.
Yeah.
And they want to wear you out.
Yeah.
How do you win them?
Well, we have to dig into their claims processing procedures.
Mm-hmm.
We have to show the jury and let everyday people like Carrie and like Trisha help them realize that could be my insurance company.
Yeah,
They could be me.
You want to show them a pattern of conduct.
Exactly.
Bad conduct.
Bad conduct.
Right. It's not just that they are big companies, large multinational corporations. That's not enough.
Yeah.
You have to personalize it for the jury. You have to say, this came from another human being and was the answer they gave. For instance, in my case, Trisha Rakes, a widow.
Yeah.
Who's trying to raise a 13-year-old son without his father. Mm-hmm. What did they tell her? And if you can bring it to the jury on that personal level, the jury understands.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you shared all of this inside information, and we certainly hope that the two clients that we featured on this show get positive results. It does take time, doesn't it?
Yes.
There's no way of changing things, but I want to thank both of you for spending your time with us on this show to educate the public, and thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. You can get more information about our guest and the issues at insiderexclusive.com.